Right now on Good Morning America First Look, breaking overnight. At least one person is dead after torrential rain floods parts of Northern California. Authorities performing multiple water rescues, and now more extreme weather is on its way, complicating travel plans for millions.
The U.S. now reportedly looking to seize another oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, the third in less than 2 weeks. One lawmaker calling it a prelude to war.
A woman goes missing off the central coast of California, with other swimmers saying they saw a shark in the water. The latest on that search.
Plus, the new threats aimed at the Trump administration from both sides of the aisle over the partial release of the Epstein files.
Caught on camera, a suspected shoplifter pulls out a loaded gun, points it at a police officer, and pulls the trigger. What happened next that likely saved that officer's life.
The wild moment during an NFL game. What a fan claims he said to a star player that made him throw a punch.
And still stumped on what to get your loved ones for Christmas. What a new poll says is the one gift you no longer have to feel guilty about giving.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Battah. We begin with that deadly flooding in Northern California.
Officials say the victim was found during water rescues being carried out by police and fire crews. There's more rain on the way as holiday travel ramps up and as San Francisco recovers from a weekend blackout. Overnight, major flooding in Northern California turning deadly. One person was killed in Redding after an intense storm brought heavy rain, swamping the area. Across the region, severe weather triggering flash floods, washing out roads, stranding drivers, and prompting numerous water rescues. A family of 9 in Placer County was forced to evacuate this home as the rising river closed in. All other residences in the area remain under an evacuation warning. And the threat is not over. More rounds of heavy rain and mountain snow are expected to hit California through Christmas Day. Also this morning, thousands in San Francisco are still without power after a fire at an electrical substation plunged parts of the city into darkness.
This is crazy. We've never seen it like this before.
At its peak on Saturday, the outage left about 130,000 PG&E customers in the dark. The blackout causing widespread disruptions. People were trapped in stalled elevators and major events canceled. Self-driving Waymo vehicles came to a halt in the middle of intersections, causing major traffic jams in the area. The cars appearing confused by the loss of traffic lights. Waymo later temporarily suspending rides due to safety concerns. All this happening during the holiday travel crush. Highways have been packed, and the skies too. The FAA planning on using limited military airspace if needed. Back to the outage in San Francisco. Power should be fully restored for remaining customers by this afternoon. Crews are still investigating what sparked the fire at the substation.
There's breaking news from Moscow, where authorities say a senior Russian general has been killed by a car bomb. Investigators say a device detonated under the general's car while in a parking lot. Authorities are looking into whether the attack might have been organized by Ukraine. Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for the attack, but was behind a similar bombing a year ago. The Pentagon is ramping up the pressure on Venezuela. The U.S. said to be pursuing a third oil tanker. The attempt to seize the sanctioned ship is the latest escalation in a series of bold U.S. military maneuvers. ABC's Alison Kosik has more.
Overnight, a rapidly unfolding situation. The U.S. in active pursuit of a sanctioned Dark Fleet vessel fleeing the Caribbean. A U.S. official tells ABC News the Coast Guard attempting to intercept an oil tanker that's part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion. That official adding the ship is flying a false flag and under a judicial seizure order. On Saturday, an elite Coast Guard tactical team seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. 10 days earlier, American forces rappelled from helicopters onto another oil tanker's deck to take control of that ship. Venezuela's government hitting back, calling the seizures theft and hijacking. As tensions rise, some U.S. lawmakers warn of dangerous escalations between the U.S. and Venezuela.
I consider it a provocation and a prelude to war, and I hope we don't go to war with Venezuela.
The U.S. has built up the largest military presence in the Caribbean in decades, and President Trump saying last week he has not ruled out military action. Some Republican senators openly calling for regime change.
I'd like to see the people of Venezuela be able to elect a new leader. Maduro's days are numbered.
The administration insisting its pressure campaign is about targeting drug traffickers and sanctioned oil. The Pentagon has so far struck 28 alleged drug boats in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing at least 100 people, but hasn't provided any public evidence the boats were carrying illegal drugs or identified those killed.
What is President Trump's motivation? These boat strikes were initially justified on the ground that we're fighting against narco trafficking. But then the president pardons some of the biggest narco traffickers ever convicted in United States courts. What's going on?
President Trump has threatened to impose what he called a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers traveling to and from Venezuela. It's a move that could devastate the Venezuelan economy. Oil exports are the lifeblood of President Nicolas Maduro's regime. Sophie, Hannah?
Allison, thank you. President Trump has named Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry as a special envoy to Greenland. Landry followed with a post saying he is honored to serve to make Greenland a part of the U.S. Trump has repeatedly said Greenland is crucial for U.S. security, even though it's a territory of Denmark. Landry made it clear that a new post will not affect his position as governor.
Now to the Central California coast, where the search resumes today for a 55-year-old woman who's been missing since a Sunday swim. Witnesses reported seeing a large splash in the water, leading to reports of a possible shark attack. Locals say shark sightings in that area are very rare.
I've never seen this much activity before in this area. Occasionally people give their stories of shark sightings, but it's not common, as far as I know.
The woman who's missing is part of a group that takes its weekly swim on Sundays. Nearby beaches are closed through tomorrow as a precaution.
A former South Carolina pastor has been indicted on charges of cyber-stalking his wife before she died by suicide last year. John Paul Miller and Micah Miller were in the process of separating. The alleged cyber-stalking reportedly included posting a nude photo of her online. Days before her death, Mike told police she feared for her life after finding a GPS tracker on her car and a razor blade in her tire.
Flu infections are ticking up just as families gather for the holidays. The CDC says so far more than 4.5 million flu cases have been reported nationwide, most of them linked to a new variant. Health experts are urging Americans to get the flu shot. About 90% of kids who died from the flu last season were not vaccinated.
The Trump administration is facing bipartisan criticism for releasing only a portion of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Lawmakers and some of Epstein's accusers have also complained about the heavy redactions, some saying pages were blacked out to protect the powerful. This morning, the Justice Department is under fire from both sides of the aisle after not releasing all of the files related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein as required by law.
This initial document release is inadequate. It falls short of what the law requires.
Two congressmen, Democrat Ro Khanna and Republican Thomas Massie, say they are speaking with members of Congress about holding Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt.
The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi.
Congress passing a law last month requiring the Justice Department to release all of its records on Epstein by Friday, with redactions permitted to protect the identity of victims, safeguard ongoing investigations, or shield images of abuse. But sources telling ABC the DOJ released less than half of those records by deadline, many of them heavily redacted. This image showing photos of Donald Trump contained inside an open drawer in Epstein's home was initially released, then removed, then reposted. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee writing, "What else is being covered up? We need transparency for the American public." But the Justice Department saying those photos were taken down only to protect possible victims.
It has nothing to do with President Trump. We're still investigating that photo. The photo will go back up, and the only question is whether there will be redactions on the photo.
But now, despite the heavy redactions, attorneys who represent more than 200 Epstein victims say they have been hearing from clients who have seen their names or other identifying information unredacted in the documents. The attorneys consulting with the government, leading to roughly 15 documents being taken down. The Justice Department says the release is an ongoing process. They're asking the victims or their attorneys to flag any sensitive documents immediately, vowing to pull and re-redact any file that accidentally exposes a survivor's identity.
Well, if you're feeling lucky, you better get a ticket for tonight's $1.6 billion Powerball lottery. It is the fourth largest grand prize in the game's history. There's been no jackpot winner in 45 consecutive drawings.
Time now for your Monday morning weather.
Good Monday morning. Rounds of heavy rain continue for the west, but for most of the country, things look pretty quiet for holiday travel this Monday. We're looking at quiet, dry conditions and mild temperatures in the center of the country, colder for the northeast, but again calm, so no major travel trouble. The exception going to be the west coast, where rounds of heavy rain and mountain snow continue. Looks like the heaviest rain going to be in Northern California up the Pacific Northwest for Monday, but on Tuesday, Central California, by Wednesday, Southern California. In New York, I'm meteorologist Danny Beckstrom for ABC News.
Coming up, the eruption at Yellowstone National Park.
Also ahead, caught on camera, a suspected shoplifter pulls a loaded gun on a police officer. What happened next that saved the officer's life?
And later, still haven't bought your Christmas gifts? What a new poll is revealing about giving cash.
Back now with a muddy eruption in Yellowstone National Park's Black Diamond Pool. A much larger hydrothermal explosion happened there in July of last year. The camera that captured Saturday's explosion was installed to help monitor the area after last year's incident.
Actor James Ranson, known for his role in The Wire, is dead at the age of 46. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner says he died by suicide. Ranson played Ziggy Sobotka in the HBO series. In 2021, he came forward as a sexual abuse survivor, saying he was molested by a tutor when he was 12. Ranson was a married father of 2.
Now to the wild scene inside a Walmart. A shoplifting suspect pulling out a loaded gun and trying to shoot a police officer. The officer's body cam capturing everything. ABC's Rena Roy has more.
Dramatic body camera footage showing the moment an alleged shoplifter pulled a gun on an Ohio police officer inside a Canton Walmart outside Cleveland Thursday. Watch as this man being held by security lunges to the right, grabs his gun, and points it at the officer. Police say he pulls the trigger, but the gun fails to fire.
Hey, no!
A Walmart employee tackling him, trying to grab the weapon.
He then brings the firearm back up and attempts to shoot the officer a second time. The gun does not go off again.
The officer punching the man and wrestling him to the ground. 2 Walmart employees helping subdue him before he's handcuffed. The gun, police say, was loaded.
It's harrowing. It's my heart dropped into my stomach.
Authorities identifying the suspect as 21-year-old Shane Newman, who has spent time in prison before on drug charges.
Newman is facing several charges in this incident, including attempted murder, and Walmart has released a statement saying the company is proud of that employee for taking action and keeping everyone in that store safe. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Rena, thanks. Coming up, a historic first in space travel.
Also ahead, an NFL star takes a swing at a fan in the stands. What that man claims he said to the player that made him throw a punch.
Back now with a historic Blue Origin flight over the weekend. It was the first time a wheelchair user was launched into space. German aerospace engineer Michaela Benthaus suffered a spinal cord injury 7 years ago. About going to space, she says you should never give up on your dreams.
Last night's game between the Lions and Steelers ended in chaos and controversy, but it's what happened on the sidelines during that same game that's raising the most questions this morning. It was a chaotic ending to last night's game between the Lions and Steelers.
Fires at the 1. He didn't get across, but there are flags down. Ball ends up in the hands of Golf.
With seconds on the clock and Detroit needing a touchdown to win, a Lions receiver catches a pass just short of the goal line, but flips it to quarterback Jared Goff, who scores a touchdown.
Golf. He goes across. Did they have a whistle first?
But the refs rule there was an offensive pass interference, the touchdown is negated, and the game is declared over, and the Lions lose a heartbreaker. But that may not be the most talked about moment of the game.
Oh my gosh.
Earlier, cameras capturing the moment Steelers receiver DK Metcalf exchanges words with a Lions fan before throwing a punch at him.
The fan said something to him, obviously. Metcalf did not like what he said.
The fan telling the Detroit Free Press that Metcalf became angry after he addressed him by his full name, DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf, saying he doesn't like his government name. I called him that, and then he grabbed me and ripped my shirt. Because the moment didn't result in the refs calling a penalty, Metcalf was able to play in the rest of the game. The NFL is now investigating the incident and could fine or suspend Metcalf. It comes a day after Georgetown suspended its basketball head coach, Ed Cooley, for a game after he threw a water bottle into the stands in a moment of frustration, the bottle hitting a child.
I have to apologize to the Nyakun family. It's totally out of character for me to be that way.
Cooley saying he has known the family of the child for years. He added in a statement, "I will learn from this experience to ensure it never happens again." Georgetown plays again tonight with an assistant coach subbing in for Cooley.
Coming up, what one cop offered speeders instead of a ticket.
Plus, Santas around the world are trading in their sleighs for gondolas, paddleboards, and even scuba gear.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with many Santas all over the world.
Of course, the real Santa's likely resting up. It is a big week after all, so plenty of others like him dressed up took part in Venice's annual Christmas regatta, rowing gondolas on the city's famous Grand Canal.
Santas were also on the water in northern Greece, paddleboarding to support a local charity.
Imagine falling in the water in one of those costumes. Yeah, Santas say that scuba diving, though, it was seen off the coast of Croatia. Getting a look at some of the fish there. His helpers, unfortunately, though, not dressed as elves.
And these Santas hitting the road on motorcycles in Bulgaria. Now it's time for the real Santa to do his thing. They look pretty good.
Yeah, they're looking fierce.
An easy solution for shopping procrastinators. It turns out most Americans are okay with cash.
A new AP poll finds out that about 6 out of 10 of us find cash or gift cards to be very acceptable as holiday presents. And younger people are more likely to be okay with the cash option than those over 45.
The poll also finds 30% of adults plan to get a gift for their pets. I know Hannah is.
Oh, yeah. Although they're happier with the box rather than whatever comes inside of
Right.
it. Okay, next, the Grinch giving drivers a choice.
A retired officer in the Florida Keys dresses up as the Grinch and works with local cops to monitor speeds in a school zone. If drivers are pulled over for going slightly over the speed limit, the Grinch reminds them to slow down. He also lets drivers choose between a ticket or an onion. All except one the other day, choosing the onion.
Oh, she bit straight into the onion. I was not expecting that.
Finally, a New York City meetup for people with one thing in common: their name.
Hundreds of people named Ryan gathered in the subway to take over the R train, and they had a song.
We are the Ryans, those are the Ryans, and we are the Ryans of the train.
Checking more top stories, severe flooding in Northern California has killed at least one person. The victim was found during water rescue operations in the city of Redding. There are widespread evacuation warnings posted in the area as rivers rise with more rain in the forecast.
In the latest negotiations aimed at ending the war in Ukraine, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff described the talks with Ukraine as productive. But after Russians met separately with U.S. negotiators, a Kremlin aide referred to the discussion as, quote, rather unconstructive.
Thousands of people welcomed the first full day of winter at Stonehenge, marking the shortest day of the year with song and dance. The monument aligns perfectly with the sun on both the winter and summer solstice. The days will only be getting longer from here.
Today's weather, there is rain we mentioned on the west coast, snow in the mountains, and also near the Great Lakes. Rain from Texas all the way to Tennessee.
And finally, one guy who's playing music for animals.
Danny New talked with him about it.
It cannot wait, I'm sure.
A French musician who might be acoustic Snow White.
So do you truly feel like the animals are responding to the music?
Yeah, it's completely changed my perception of animals' life.
He goes by Plume, and Plume has been picking up millions of views online as he visits zoos and sanctuaries to perform for animals of all sizes.
I feel like anywhere that invites me with animals, I want to try.
This interspecies practice began 3 years ago when Plume was still busking in the subway.
I felt like I was playing for people that weren't really paying attention, they were just passing by. and I didn't know whether I should continue or not.
But then Plume read an article about how cows are soothed by music. So he decided to just play for some at his grandmother's countryside home.
The reaction completely blew my mind.
Take my whiskey. Now, 3 years later, Plume is exploring the connection between music and giraffes,
just a yellow lemon tree,
lemurs,
nothing lasts forever,
and even the big cats. Oh, that's a big stretch. And for the record, Plume does say he gets a little nervous at first.
In the darkness.
But how does playing for a panda or a tiger compare to playing for a human?
You're like, I played for a tiger. I'm okay.
Yeah, I should be okay. But somehow humans still are the most terrifying.
Now, guys, Plume swears that anyone could have this effect on animals, but just look at the trance he put Pepper in, who loved it, and then immediately was like, okay, Dad, you pet me now. Rightfully so, guys.
Love it, Danny. Thank you. That is your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great day, everyone.